how's it going? It's Sean Bradshaw from cyberfret.com, and in this lesson I'm going to show you some cool sounding chords that are all based around a basic E shape. So what happens is we're just going to be moving that E shape around to different places on the neck and get some cool sounding chords by doing that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the different possibilities of moving a basic E chord shape around the neck of the guitar. Some of the frets sound good, some don't. Some will sound good in certain contexts, and some of them you might just say, I'm not sure about that one, but I'm going to give you some examples where you're going to hear these different chords kind of in some chord progressions. But let's take a look at the chords first. So we're starting out with a basic E chord. And if I take that E chord shape and I move it up just one fret and play that, it's a very Spanish sounding chord. And the name of that, and some of these names get crazy, but it's an F major 7 with an added sharp 11 with an E in the bass. Say that 3 times fast. All of these have the open 6-string E, and so they're all kind of /E, and so that's just a type of chord that has a different bass note than the root of the chord. So this is an F major 7 chord with a spice of a sharp 11, but with E as the lowest sounding note. And don't really worry about the names of these. I'm going over these names just because we got to call them something. All right. So if we take that and move it up to the 3rd fret, now if I just play that by itself, it may sound a little funny, but you'll see later on that that's going to work as a cool chord progression. So this would be an F sharp 7 with an added 11 /E. Move up one more, and this one may sound a little better on your ears. It's a G6 /E. Now, if I move up just one more fret, we've been moving up one fret at a time, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret. If I go to the 5th fret and play this one, not so good. All right, that's one of the ones we kind of will leave out because it's not really much use for that one. All right, but if I move up one more fret and I go to the 6th fret, this one is probably one of the most common ones. You may have heard this sound before. It's an A, add 9 with an E in the bass. If I move up one more fret to the 7th fret, again, another bad one. But move up one more to the 8th fret, nice sounding one is a B, add 11, could call it add 4 too, and then with an E in the bass. Move up one more fret to the 9th fret. This is a C major 7 /E. If you moved up to the 10th fret, there's another one of our bad ones. We're not going to have that one. Move up one more. It's to the 11th fret. It's a nice sounding one. It is a D6/9 /E chord. 12th fret. Another bad one. And then up one more so that your first finger is at the 13th fret. You have another E. You just have those notes that you were playing here an octave higher. So the good ones, good sounding ones are with your first finger, or regular E, and then your first finger at the 2nd fret, first finger at the 3rd fret, first finger at the 4th fret, first finger at the 6th fret, 8th fret, 9th fret, 11th fret, and then 13th fret. Now I'm just going to go through some chord progressions that use these, and you'll kind of hear, you probably hear some common sounds that you just haven't thought about before. All right, so the first chord progression we're going to take a look at, I just call Spanish Phrygian. This is a very Spanish sounding chord progression, and as soon as I play it, you will recognize it. Now, with all of these chord progressions, I gave you the long, complicated names for these chords just a second ago. Well, we're going to throw all that out the door, because all I'm going to do is name these by where your first finger goes. And so if you see E2, there is no such chord as E2. It's just taking that E chord shape and having your first finger at the second fret. If it says E4, just have your first finger at the fourth fret. So here is Spanish Phrygian. So all that is we've got a basic E chord, the E shape at the second fret, and the E shape at the fourth fret. Where I might have played that E shape at the second fret, you might have thought that sounded kind of harsh. Well, in this context, you've heard this in probably television commercials, movies, all kinds of things. So it is a very common sound. All right, the next one I call Happy Happy. All right, it's called Happy Happy because that's a very happy sound. We have the E chord, E chord shape at the 8th fret, and the E chord shape at the 6th fret, which basically gives you the sound, a fancy sound of an E, a B, and an A chord. So if I did this, this is just fancier. This next one is called Chromatic Thing. Here's where some of these might have sounded kind of bad to your ear out of context, but this, take the E chord, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, E. So we have this tension that gets resolved finally back to this E chord. And the last one is just called Finale. It's a common kind of sound you hear as an ending, a finale. All right, so sometimes you can get some cool new chord sounds without learning any new chord shapes. And this is one great example of just moving around an E chord.